The best actors often infuse their characters with facets of their own personalities. Sure, that can lead to better performances overall, but it can also lead to emotionally draining scenes, and in some cases, identity crises for actors who dove a little too deep into their characters.
Jake, I don't know who I am anymore.
The Get Down might have fallen victim to its own massive budget and co-creator Baz Luhrmann's busy schedule, but the show's portrayal of the birth of hip-hop and its depiction of a mythical New York City was a delight while it lasted. The show's intense commitment to world building was also reflected in the actors, who practiced choreography on set in a reconstructed Queens neighborhood, and even involved some of the actors wearing period-appropriate underwear.
Yeah, you can go too if you need to, man.
Nah, if I'm around, I need a beat. One that don't retire just because mom's making rice-a-roni with the real cheese and the chili ground meat.
As series lead Ezekiel Brown, actor Justice Smith committed to the role with gusto for the long hours of filming. Unfortunately, that dedication to craft ended up taking an emotional toll on the young actor when his method acting techniques started to erase the distinction between himself and the character he was playing. Smith told Vulture, "The lines get blurred and you're like, what is me and what is the character? Am I really like this or is that just him? My biggest fear was, what if I don't come back? What if I don't return to who I am?" In Season 3 of AMC's dark drama Breaking Bad, Walter White's DEA brother-in-law Hank is nearly shot to death, and he winds up crippled for part of the next season. The character's former upbeat attitude and macho dialogue is replaced with sullen glares, moody silences, and a frankly stank outlook.
Hank?
I leave this hospital when I walk out of here. You understand? And not before.
This continues episode after episode. Oh, and that mineral collection. God, that mineral collection. Actor Dean Norris found himself increasingly enveloped in the newly grim outlook of his character, which necessitated weeks of filming for the arc. According to Entertainment Weekly, Norris admitted, "You were constantly dark for 15-hour days, being just depressed as a character and being mean to my on-screen wife. I was just constantly in this kind of pissed-off mood. The whole season 4 for me was not pleasant." Still, Norris's dedication to his craft paid off in the long run. After all, if Hank never took time off to recover from his injuries, we wouldn't have comedic gems like this.
Did you check them for damage?
The rocks, Hank!
No, they're minerals. Jesus, Marie, I got some geodes coming that are very delicate, all right?
While Orange is the New Black might have its comedic moments, it also never shied away from the deeply unpleasant realities of imprisonment and sexism. Following a group of women imprisoned in a women's correctional facility, the show features the various intersections between race, class, gender, and sexuality. In Season 3, a feud finds Sophia, a trans woman, sent to solitary confinement, ostensibly for her own protection after a violent attack.
Jesus, Brissette. Why do you have to make everything so hard?
No offense, but f*** you.
Actress Laverne Cox, herself transgender, admitted that although the storyline was important to showcase, it was deeply upsetting to film. She told Vulture, "When I read this episode, I was just in tears. I bawled reading it because it was deeply triggering for me. As trans people of color, there's so many different layers of that, so the trauma of that was just very real and raw for me." There are plenty of loathsome villains in the history of television, but very few have been quite as young and quite as twisted as King Joffrey on Game of Thrones. Even among a cast full of violent monsters, the young king stood out as a truly sadistic character.
I won't hurt him. Much.
Actor Jack Gleeson seems to be as kind-hearted as his character is not, since he's gone on record as feeling very conflicted over the violent acts committed in the show. As Gleeson said in an interview with Rolling Stone, "You tend to abstract yourself from the creepiness of it when you're playing it, but when you see it on television, it sends shivers down my spine. I would like to try and defend him, but I would have a pretty hard job doing it." Gleeson even retired from acting after his time on the show ended, and while we're sad to see the young and promising actor fade from the field, we never get tired of watching his character's retirement. While Krysten Ritter's got a bit of a knack for playing self-destructive characters like Chloe on Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, or Jane in Breaking Bad, her performance in Marvel's Jessica Jones is arguably one of her best. The show follows the titular superpowered private detective as she struggles with trauma in a world of unbreakable men and manipulative monsters. Playing a character that deals with such dark experiences required Ritter to really invest herself in Jessica Jones's loneliness, which involved a difficult transition. Ritter told the Los Angeles Times, "It definitely takes a toll because I'm more bubbly and alive and zestful, and I like to have a good time. So after a while, you're like, oh my god, I'm getting really depressed, and I just had to move across the country, so I'm in an apartment that doesn't have my furniture. I'm not around my friends. I spend a lot of time walking around doing the scenes by myself in my apartment." Yeah, that sounds like a real bummer. But hey, if Ritter's self-imposed isolation led to her performance as the ever badass Jessica Jones, then it may have all been worth it in the end.
Smile.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.